So what are some of the hidden costs that you want to think about when you're thinking about price versus cost and good, fast, or cheap? You might get a lower sales price from poor negotiation. You save money on an agent that is not going to really negotiate or position your house properly. That can cost you a lot of money. Many of us in the space, I'm part of a lot of different investor groups because some of the stuff I do, and many of us love seeing some of the discount brokerages out there, or I don't want to drop any names here, but you know them. You probably use their houses to check out what their sites to go to check out what's happening in the market in your neighborhood. We love negotiating against those guys because they're not as attached to it. They're not generally as skilled in the business. They just want to make the deal. Their compensation structure doesn't align for them to fight as hard. So that's great. Even a discount commission agent, we love going against as professionals, whether negotiating for an off-market property for investment, negotiating on market for an investment, doesn't matter. Those agents that are that fast to fade, give up their commission money and don't see the value in themselves are probably not going to see the value in your house to really fight for the money. And that can quickly be 10, 20, 50, $100,000 differences in saving money on commissions, costing you money. You might get a lower return or no return from improvements that you do to the property by making the wrong decisions or hiring the wrong contractor that's not done well. I was out this weekend with a client of mine. They just bought a house recently and they're going to rent their own house and they've got to do some updates. So they're interviewing contractors, and they found a contractor that had a couple recent jobs online. And we went and looked at the houses to see what did the finished work look like without the contractor there. We could just go walk through. So we went and drove and looked through them. And certainly that contractor brings a lot of affordability to what they're doing, and they're good on timing. They can turn the work really quickly. But walking in, you could see things that were just not great from the details. And when buyers see those kind of corners cut, the millwork doesn't quite fit, the joints aren't right, the tile's not square, it's a little bit offset. It can lead people to wonder, like, this work isn't that good. Did they cut other corners? What's wrong that I can't see or that I'm not noticing as I go through? So saving some money from a cheaper contractor can cost you money from buyers willing to pay top dollar. You can get into increased risk, especially when it comes to representing yourself as a for sale by owner. And I'm not trying to say everybody has to use an agent. That's not the case. You can hire an attorney. There's a lot of different ways to go, but you want to be aware of some of these hidden costs. If the deal falls apart because you miss something or it sits on the market for too long, that can cost you a lot of money and you could potentially get sued. There's a seller disclosure form that if you fill that out incorrectly, you could get into a lawsuit, and that's a trailing thing that buyers could come back to you in the future, considerably in the future, to go after you. The cost of trying to save some money and making a bad hire from a contractor to an agent to whatever it is, making a bad hire and starting to having to start over again. Not only did you lose whatever money you spent there, you lost a lot of time, you had a lot of stress. Now you got to start the whole thing over again. So that's a cost of time and money. And then the lost time increases the cost you pay. When I was putting this one in, I was thinking about lost time from basically a price standpoint or the house sitting on the market, which time on the market is the biggest enemy of any seller. It can lead to price reductions. Chasing the market down is much harder and more expensive than pricing right initially. And you're still spending extra money other ways. There's extra utilities, there's extra property taxes, there's extra interest to the current bank. So there's a lot of costs that start stacking up behind owning the property longer than you really want to own it. As I mentioned, time is the biggest enemy of the seller when a property is on the market. If you've bought a house before, probably one of the things that you looked at was how long has it been on the market? It's a question that all buyers ask when I'm working with them. Is how it just came on, or how long has it been on? What is it? Because everybody kind of knows the longer a house is on the market, nobody else has said yes to it yet. Maybe you can get it for less. Maybe you can get it for less. So you really want to be aware of time from time on the market, but you also want to be aware of time as far as the seasonality of the sale, even the day of the week that you go on the market. is important. Time is a thing that you have to be aware of when you're selling a house. We have very specific days that we want to go on the market. And if we can't hit those days, we will delay up to a week to go on the right day because it's that important to us.